Here we are, Rebecca Misek, Arrow's Edge Coaching. We moved mountains to get here right now.
Yes.
We will spare you all the gory details, but it's something to do with settings and microphones and headphones and echoes. And the podcast struggle is so real, but it's so worth it.
Yes, it is. I'm excited to talk to you today and all of you listening. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I am so thrilled to have you. We are new friends. We've met once before, and I was just so drawn to your services, your business, and you as a human and your personality and just your approach to how you serve your audience. So I'm really excited to dive into all of that today. So thank you for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm excited to see what happens today.
Me too. Let's dive in. Let's
All
just get
right.
straight to the juicy stuff.
Come on, let's go.
Amazing. Well, I'm curious. I find that coaches all have a very unique and interesting origin story because you don't just wake up one day and you're like, I'm going to be a coach and I've had an easy life and like coaches usually have gone through it and are here to serve because they have experienced something. And so I would love to hear your story. How did you get here and what was that calling that you said yes to start doing this type of work?
Well, honestly, it started like 13 years ago when I was actually building a school and the other staff in that area were like having this class that it was teaching coaching. And so coaching is actually a modality. It's not like I've just been through something and now I can teach others how to get through that thing. That's mentoring. Coaching is actually a process and a modality that we do that includes asking powerful questions and extremely deep listening. And so I actually nosed my way into the class because my intuition, my gut was like, you gotta do this thing. You gotta find a way in the door, And me, I'm a trailblazer. I'm just like, okay. So I nudged my way in there. And in that one class, the trainer actually called me out. She says, Rebecca, you're a natural at this. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I just started taking and learning. And I just found through experience, like I've done the counseling modality. I've done mentoring. I've done, leading and being a trainer. I've done all those things. But by and large, the most effective for long lasting change that I've found is coaching. And so I brought that into my next life experience where I led a church for 10 years and built it from scratch. I'm an entrepreneur and that was just one of the things that I've built, right? And instead of doing like when I would counsel people or try to mentor them or tell them what to do or tell them how to do it, I was not getting the effects because people were not actually walking through and following through on what they were doing. And so I learned to begin to coach people. And when I coached them, I found so much more success and so much more lasting change. And just, I found it so extremely effective that I just fell in love with what I was doing. And so, like, fast forward, man, yes, there's been the hard times and there's been the crazy happenings and really through all the hard times, that's where I gained my heart for leaders, achievers, trailblazers like me, I got a heart for them because I got really sick and tired of watching leaders build amazing things and then have them crumble because they didn't do the foundational work they needed to actually play the long game well. And even that was part of my own story is man, I've been all about personal development from day one. Like I was changing and shifting things when I was a little girl in different organizations and structures. It's just who I am, right? I'm a straight talker. I'm a leader. I just go after things. But I had this thing happen. It was 2019 and my life really blew up in front of me. And I realize now that it's 2025, if I would have done all the work that I have done since then on my own self, leading my own self, on my mindsets, my emotional resilience, all of those different areas that we need to be strong and play the long game well, if I would have done that before I built some of the things I built, I would have handled a lot of it completely differently. The situation that happened to me gave me some PTSD to deal with. And I mean, I've been healed from that. That's awesome. But how much could I have prevented it if I would have known that pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice? And if I would have known that it takes 90 seconds for the emotion to run through your body, to really actually pass through your body. And then I get a choice on how I'm going to frame it, how I'm going to look at it. I talk about it like this, you take like a magnet, right? And on one side, you've got the side that attracts, and you got the other side that'll push away. Every situation in your life is like a magnet. It's got a positive side that will attract, and it's got a negative side that will push away. And I get the power to choose which side I'm going to focus on. And when I focus on the positive side, when I focus on the side that's going to attract, that I'm giving it an empowering meaning, and I'm actually learning to process things properly. If I would have known all of that back then, I think a bunch of the things that really caused me a lot of harm, a lot of heart harm, I would have handled it completely differently. And so for me, first of all, I'm born to do this. Second of all, I'm impassioned to do this. And third of all, I'm just sick and tired of seeing leaders fail or never actually getting to see their dream to come to life, to fruition, or they kill themselves working. And so they destroy their marriage and their family and their own emotions and their heart and their body in the middle of what they're building. What's the point then? So, man, we leaders, we got to be able to play the long game well. And I am committed to making sure that happens with every person that I run into.
That is a beautiful mission. Question for you. So, in this trajectory that you just explained, and hindsight is 2020, had I known these things, I would have, had a different journey. Do you find that both for yourself and with your clients, going through that kind of stickiness, in a way to put it lightly, is sometimes a necessary step to being able to internalize what you just shared with me more deeply to be able to apply it? Or can somebody just be coached through, the modalities that you share so that they can avoid that completely and never have to go through it? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that is such a good question. Oh my goodness, because it's kind of both. Because pressure produces progress. And
Mm,
so, and actually, the very definition of leadership is to solve problems. So, as a leader, it's like, oh, we get obsessed. We're like, oh, I've got this problem. If I just get through the problem, but then you get through that problem and boink, 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 here comes three more problems that you get to solve. And if you can embrace that, of like, that's just part of the process, that's what we do. We solve problems as leaders and accept that and go through it. It will build you. Going through pain, I actually look to some of the emotional trauma that I went through in the past. I look at that with such gratitude because it made me who I am today. It made me passionate. It made me strong. It made me like, I will not quit. I will not give up. And it is what has made me in front of my clients like, okay, you're having a struggle. I will not quit on you. I will not give up. We don't just back away from struggles, right? But at the same time, it's like if you it's I equate it to kind of like going to the gym. When you go to the gym, you're lifting weights until you fail. I mean, that's the whole point of going to the gym is failure. And so you lift the weights, you fail, and it brings muscle, right? Okay, so what if you had somebody who was walking with you to train you to build muscle faster in an easier way? And that's what a coach does, man. We're going to help you like do the reps and build muscle faster in your emotions, in the way you think, in your belief systems. We're going to actually take you and do it faster, quicker, and with a lot less, like it doesn't have to be traumatic. Because again, pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice and an option. And so we're going to teach you that, okay, you're going to have pain and you're going to have problems because that's what being a leader is all about. But guess what? You don't have to sit in that, and it doesn't have to become suffering and trauma for you. And so it's like both. You can escape some of the pain, but you can also and avoid it, but you can also go through the pain more victoriously in an I talk about the unshakable life all the time. Like, what if you could deal with everything that's going on inside of you and become unshakable despite the circumstances around you? What would that really look like? Who could you really be, and how could you really show up in life if that was true? And most people think, God, that's not true. I am totally human, shakeable, right? It's true. You can become unshakable. You can become solid and certain within yourself and powerful within yourself that your circumstances, man, you could just, all right, here's the problem. We get to solve it. That's awesome. So I guess that was a long answer to a short question is, hey, it's both. It really is both sides of that.
Yeah, I love that. What a great analogy too, because if you are, you're going to the gym, you don't know what you're doing, you can still get the same results. It's going to take you longer and you may not do certain movements as safely. You may not have that targeted path of like, here's how we're going to create pressure. Here's how we're going to literally break down your muscles so that they can grow bigger. And you have that support of somebody who's next to you, who's giving you that guidance instead of just figuring out on your own and potentially going through something you don't need to go through, but not to say through something like coaching that it will just be an easy road, right? You still have to put in the work.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Beautiful. So tell me more about the transformation that you provide your clients and what that experience is like working with you and how what are people kind of desiring when they come to you and how do you support them through that?
Yeah, so things that my clients say at the beginning is, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed out, or I have no idea what I'm doing. Do any of those sound familiar? Right?
Absolutely.
And yes. And I love to encourage, especially like entrepreneurs, trailblazers, people that are wanting to just create an experience around themselves and around others that want to make a difference in the world. None of us feel like we know what we're doing. We don't. And so it, I love to work with people. Our main thing that we do is it's thematic around hiking because I'm a hiking enthusiast and it's developed around a mountain hike process. And so, you know how if you're going up on a peak trail and it's really hard and it's really difficult, you see different sights along the way and you stop and you take a look at those different stops. Those stops for us is we're going to look over and see what our finances are looking like and who am I in the midst of my finances and how can I be aligned and congruent with who I am in the realm of finances. And we look at your relationships and who am I congruent with myself, because a lot of us, man, we get out and we'll be like, we're so busy trying to please everyone around us and carry the load that's on us that we end up forgetting who in the world we actually are. We're like, oh, wait, I think I just lost myself, right? And so we have to relocate and upgrade our identity in the midst of our journey. And so we'll look at your relationships, we'll look at your finance, we'll look at your what I call muddy trails. What are the things that are holding you back? What are the things that are going to also push you forward? And how do you leverage those things to get out of the spinning your tires are like falling flat on your muddy trail? How do you get out of those things and then leverage those very things to get you propelling forward in a much quicker, faster way? You know, I love to work with business owners in the same manner as evaluate the different areas of your business. What is congruency and alignment with who you really are? And being authentically yourself and unshakable inside of the business realm. And so what makes us really special is, first of all, there's three of us and we all do something completely different. You know, I am about breakthrough and fast movement. My partner, Amber, she's about heart optimization. You know, I don't know a leader who hasn't been through something extremely hard. That's part of the process. But if you really want to show up congruent, aligned, and healthy, it's really important to take care of whatever trauma's in there, whatever might be holding you back emotionally. Because if you think about it, the chokehold on any business is the skills and mindsets of its owner, and 80% is about the mindset of the owner. And so think about this. You can go into a heart optimization session with Amber and really kind of, we call it dumping Legos, where you're just like, this is everything that's in there. Now let's take a look at it. And then we
Oh my
help
God,
you.
I'm
Go
so
ahead.
sorry.
What were you?
I'm like, you have just made my wheels spinning. And I'm just thinking about the way that business owners see their shortcomings and try to solve them by hiring for the gaps, which, like, there's a time and a place for that. But what you just said is massive because if the mindset work hasn't been done and that heart work hasn't been done, there aren't there aren't enough people and VAs and contractors in the world to hire to get you to that place without you doing the work. So, major, huge yes. Okay, sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
Oh, no, you're good because I 100% agree. And, one thing that really does set us apart is we're doing the work. We're doing it on ourselves. And so, like, I believe every coach needs a coach. So I have coaches and trainers that frankly hand my butt to me every single call. Like it's like boot camp hard level, and it's worth it because I want to show up fully for the people I'm serving. And so I'm always upgrading because there's always another level. And so all of our coaches are always upgrading. The other provider we have is he's been a program manager for over 16 years. And so it's like you're working on you. What most of the time the bottleneck, no, I'm sorry. All the time, the bottleneck on your business is you. I'm sorry. I'm a business owner. I know it's true. I hate to admit it. Like anybody else, I can say, oh, my VA didn't do this or so and so didn't do this. But honestly, I have to take 100% ownership for where my business is at. And so, what I do, I realize, okay, let's look at where are the roadblocks, where are the mindsets coming in that are holding me back? And also, where are the processes that need to take place so that I can actually see an end game on this thing where my vision, I have a friend, he's been talking about writing a book for 10 years. He got a cover done, an outline done, and now he's dying and his story will never be told. Because why? Because they start, but they don't complete it. Because sometimes we just get in our own way. And I can tell you better than anybody because the amount of times I realize is, oh shoot, I have just gotten in my own way again. And I've had to overcome those. And so it's really important. You can't read the label on your own jar. You really can't. And so we all need somebody to say, oh, yeah, hello, let's tweak that. The other thing that makes us really unique is that we don't do shame here. I had a client that was utterly had an addiction to pornography. He was just stuck in it. And he came to me and we talked about it. And all I did was remove shame from him. And he's been now free for 9 years, hasn't looked at it since. It's that instantaneous. I have another client that she came to me. She's a business owner and she had not been intimate with her husband in 10 years. They don't even kiss. She had just put in divorce papers when she started working with me. By the end of the 3 to 6 months that we worked together, for her it was fast track, man, because she was ready for change. She not only removed the divorce papers, but they had been back to intimacy and a fresh new marriage. And then on top of that, because she had been trying to be who she was expected to be for so long, she had really lost herself. So she was able to find herself. And since then, she's created a network of over 200 business leaders. And so how you show up in your life, your relationships, your emotions, your mindset completely affects how you show up in your business. And so her business was like epic growth and her marriage was completely saved. Now they're helping other married couples. And like it's just this ripple effect, this domino effect. So I've seen so many business owners that if we can talk through all these areas, it all comes out in your business. It just does. And so I just love to help people to make sure that not only their life is thriving and they're completely unleashed as a person and they're completely mastering their mind, their emotions, and their thoughts, but they're utterly successful in that passion project or that book or that business that they're trying to build, that they actually get to do that and see that through to finality, to actually making it happen. Like, I don't know. I could talk about this forever. I'm so excited for my clients. I talk about it this way. You could be one belief away from your breakthrough. And what I mean by that is just one tweak. So can I share one last story about one of my clients real
Please,
quick?
please, please.
Okay, so this client, she was like mad about her job. She's like, I'm sick of this career and I have been applying for job after job after job after job and like nobody's even calling me back and I can't even get out of here, but this place is just so toxic. And so we coached around it. And what I mean by coaching, by the way, is it's a modality. Like the International Coaching Federation has guidelines, right? Instructions and systems. And we coached around that topic. And she decided she was going to show up differently in her work. And she was going to come completely unshakable inside of herself, completely authentically as herself. And it was so interesting. She changed the belief about how she was going to show up at work. And she had a job offer on her desk the next week.
Was that
See,
a job
it's you
tied to before that coaching?
months before.
Interesting.
See, life is trying to teach us lessons by solving problems. And sometimes we have pressure, and the way out of that pressure is just to simply up level the standards of your life to outgrow that problem. Seriously. Like I had another business owner, she was just opening a juice bar. And she had set these little bitty goals and she had a glass ceiling over herself. Like she just had put it over herself. She ripped that down from the wall after we talked it through. And it was so funny because when she was able to lift the limiting beliefs off of herself, then she more than tripled the goal that she had placed on the wall. She just like easily made her income goals for her business. She got out there and showed up in marketing in a different way. She showed up and came with different energy. She's one of my favorite clients. Oh my gosh, I could talk about my clients forever, but every person we work with comes out with a different result. But really, in the end, it's like we're going to align and we're going to transform and we're going to unleash our true self and we're going to actually play the long game well.
I love so much that you like I think as individuals, we think we know what's best for us. And so we, with great intentions go forward with this thing that I think this is a good goal for me, or like even that heartbreaking story of the man who wanted to write a book. Like you get a cover made and you get an outline done, and it's almost like I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to run a marathon." And so I go and I buy shoes and an outfit, but I don't actually start running. Like
Yes.
to have somebody to provide that guidance and in a truly judgment free fashion, right? Because the other thing I was thinking as you were
Yes.
talking, just before you talked about the shame component, was like, okay, I understand fundamentally what is expected of me and that I'm the bottleneck and that there are all these mindset things I need to work through. So I maybe just won't do anything. Like it's better off if I just do nothing because then I won't cause any problems. And, like, and that's not progress either, right? So I love that you have this holistic support system for your clients that guides them through each of these phases of leadership and business ownership. It's really a beautiful thing you've put together.
And we love serving. And it's not that we just show up for the hour that we're committed to coaching. We're actually wrestling through it before your session and during the week and thinking about strategy and how to get you your desired outcome. We're just super committed. And it's such a pleasure and an honor because I've met so many people from across the world. Like, I couldn't imagine doing anything else with my life. So many people were like, I'm just going to build a business to get out of, as 2020, it was COVID, and I just want to get out of my workplace. That wasn't it for me. It was actually this passion and this joy to see people thrive and also like to see people have a person that really believes in them, that's committed to their success because I didn't really have that. When I was looking for mentoring, it's always from a stage, from a podcast, from a book. I want people to actually have something customized that is developed just for them. That's why it's like you go through this online business building stuff. It's like, what's your niche and who's your, I'm like, my clients literally get a different outcome. They have a customized, custom built outcome. And that's really a game changer to me. It's like, what do you want? Okay, we're going to get you there. And we're committed to making sure you get there.
I'm curious from a business perspective, if you have, this very customized experience and you have these one-on-one clients or three-on-one, if they get to work with all of your coaches, what does that look like if there are other coaches listening who are like, okay, that sounds a lot like what we do. How do you scale what you have? Or is that even something that you're, interested in? Some people are like, I'm good where I'm at. I've figured it out. What does that look like for you?
Scaling my business can take so many different pathways, but we do one-on-one coaching, we do group coaching. So people having the experience together can sometimes amplify the effect. And so it's really great. It's dangerous to do this alone. It's you look out in the jungle and you think about the ones that get killed are the animals that are away from their pack. And
Mm,
so we've also created the Unshakable Life community that people who are coaching with us, they can go to that, or you can just be a part of that community where we're looking at our momentum metrics every single Monday. We're deciding our focus. We're deciding what meaning we're giving things. We're networking with each other and creating community. And so it's really, we make sure to fill all the gaps and we make sure that each person is fully supported. I really am a true believer in community, because it's just better together. I think about it like this, I was battling insomnia for quite a period of time. And when I couldn't sleep, it was utterly terrible when I was alone in it. But when my husband would get up with me and help me to get to sleep or just have compassion and give me relational joy in the middle of that, that battle was so much easier to get through. And so for me, community is key. And so we make sure every single person is part of the community. Yeah.
awesome. Do you find that there are people in your community that kind of pull themselves out as natural leaders of maybe newcomers to the community or people who have stepped into a role of providing guidance or answering questions more regularly? And what does that look like? Have you created opportunities for people who have been with you for a few years, or how do you navigate that opportunity in that space?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. Thank you for thinking of that.
Yeah.
We've been doing that recently. I had one of my favorite clients. I get stars in my eyes every time I think of her. Her story is she lost like several people in a row to death. And so she was just grieving. And so she was having trouble going forward with her life. She worked with me and now, oh, she's just such an amazing leader. Tasha, if you're listening, girl, you're awesome. But we just had her lead a session. And so she did teaching and training based on what she's learned with us and throughout her circumstances. And a lot of the other ones, we host breakout rooms in the Unshakable Life community. And the reason for that is community is just so important and so crucial. And you also have better learning if you're teaching somebody else. And so those people are now learning to lead other people and they're getting to try out some different modes of leadership and try out different skills and try out different thoughts because we believe that everybody that comes to the table is an expert in something and every single person has some sort of value they can add. And so we find different methods and ways to include people. Oh, my girl Bobby, she's amazing. She has just become the messaging host. She gets on our chat and she's like, hey, how is everybody? What's going on? And she's answering the comments and she's like a community. I don't even know what to call her, but she's just like always greeting, always bringing energy, always just lifting the mood and always participating. And so she's like a community host, and it just naturally has happened that people step into the places where they shine the most. So yeah, we totally do that. We love doing that because that's part of the leadership journey too, is you have to have places to pour out while you're also getting poured into. So yeah, totally.
Awesome. I love to hear that. And I think it's really powerful as community members and maybe, especially for people who might be newer, because it's one thing like you are the expert, right? Like they've opted into your program and there was something about you or your business partners that drew them in. So yeah, like of course you can do this stuff, but who's to say that, little old us that we can do it. So to hear and to see that in other community members and say, okay, it's year 3 that I'm in this program or whatever that looks like. And I've been where you are and it is possible and I'm here to share my story. I think that's so powerful.
It is
Yeah,
completely.
incredible. I'm curious. what it's like to co-own a coaching company with two other people. Tell me a little bit about what that process is like for you, because we have a lot of solo entrepreneurs, and I've spoken with a lot of, there is one CEO and maybe they have people working, with them as employees. But are you three kind of, and you don't have to share this if you don't want to, but like, I'm just curious what that, from a high level, what that's like and how you navigate that partnership.
Yeah, so I am the sole owner of the business.
Got
Like,
it.
I'm the one who's financially invested. I'm the one who pays the consequences if something goes wrong, right? I have all the responsibility on my shoulders. But I also have two other coaches that are completely trained, and we plan to onboard other coaches as we go. And the key is they just need to align and have chemistry with us and work well with us. But my goal has always been to raise other coaches. I've had a lot of people. I have put so many people in the program that trained me. Like, I'm like, please go through this program, because honestly, learning to coach is really good for parenting, for your like the way you communicate, the way you listen is just really healthy, understanding those processes anyways. But the other two coaches, they come to the table with their different strengths, and all of our strengths are honored. And so it's as simple as that. Amber and I, like, we're really aligned, but we come from a different angle. So it's like you take like a diamond per se, and it has different cuts in it. And if you look at it differently, it's still the same diamond. It's just going to show a different side of it, or a different, in my case, I have different colors in my diamond. It's a Leo first light. And you'll see a different color, a different shape in there. That's kind of how it is. We echo the same message. We work with the same type of people who want to grow, high achievers. We do that same thing, but she does it with a just a different angle on it, and from a different perspective. And the same thing with the other ones. Like, we all come with our expertise to the table, and our expertise is honored. And the same thing with my assistants and the other team members that I have on staff is, oh my gosh, my VA, I could not live without that girl. Like, seriously, she knows stuff that I don't know. And when neither of us know it, she figures it out. She like owns stuff that I could not possibly manage on my own. I'm eternally grateful for her. So, like, if I didn't have honor for the gold that she brings, I would be missing out on the gift that she is. If you think about that, because yeah, sure, I've invested a lot in my training, like a lot, and I'm still continuing training. And there are areas that I'm expert in, but there are areas I am not expert in. And if I allow other experts to come in and bring their expertise with full honor and love, oh my gosh, we are so much better together. I don't have to micromanage. I don't have to, we all come with the same voice on the same mission, with the same heart, and that's all that matters. So we all play a different role, and it's great.
I love that. That is, I mean, and it's really smart. Like, don't recreate the wheel and try to learn something that would take you away from that expertise that you're already providing. Bring
Yes.
somebody who's aligned with your values into the fold that, has that same standard of service. It's something that makes a lot of sense and in practice can be a little bit difficult, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's a skill in itself, really.
Yes, we have had moments where we had maybe the wrong team member, and that's when oh man, that's when that unshakable resilience has to come in. Like, you have somebody, I've had a couple that have come on and been not a good fit and not aligned. And well, first of all, anytime you bring in a new team member, you have to go through that process of learning each other, getting used to and adjusting and switching. And that can cause that upheaval. It's going to cause upheaval to begin with. But then at the same time, if you get somebody that has a change of heart, I had another business owner talk about it like this. He's like, you as a leader will always take the blame, whether you really did it or not. And so you have to be ready to handle that and Mel Robbins says it so well, just let them.
Yeah.
And I remember the day that I learned this is so important. I am responsible for my character, not my reputation. And
Oh,
so I work on my character and I bring my full self. And then my reputation is not something I worry about.
man. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a fear that sometimes keeps business owners, including myself, kind of stuck in the like, I'm ready to hire, I'm ready to look for this person to bring on into the fold, but I either have made a mistake in the past and firing is the worst thing in the world, so I don't want to go through that again, so I'm just going to figure it out on my own, or like, what does that process look like? How do we vet people? How do we write a job description that attracts the right people? It's like a whole thing that like selfishly I'm asking you because I'm currently trying to navigate that space um with that like really traumatic experience of having to fire people that I never want to do again, but it's all part of the thing, right? It's like just must be unshakable, as you say.
Yeah, there's definitely a process to work through. And something that Tony Robbins said that has really stuck with me is that today in this age, things are moving so fast and so quickly, especially with business, that if you hire good, you're going to get poor results. So you must hire outstanding. And so it's really important to know that, because a lot of us, especially small business owners, like, oh, this person is less expensive. Yeah, but you might get a really bad outcome. And I know this because I have done all the wrong freaking things. Oh my gosh, have I the actually in your genre to say I have a website saga 50 miles long. It is full of drama and adventure and like it is just terrible. But man, I learned from that. I must hire outstanding, and sometimes that comes with a cost. Like, you are worth paying the cost that you charge because you come with integrity, you come with heart, you care about your client's outcome. Like, that's not normal in the website building business. Trust me, I know.
And
And
I
so
hate
for
that
me,
that's
oh my gosh, yes.
true
So
for a day, but
so so
like
I'm going to refer people like you, and I'm going to be like, look, you have to hire outstanding to get really good results. And that makes all the difference, and it's worth the sacrifice because your time is not a renewable resource. Like, once you live time, it's gone. And so when you're busy spinning your wheels because you've hired the wrong somebody, because maybe they were cheaper contractor, or maybe because they gave you a good line, like just a good sales line. Oh, I'll do this. But well, like, let's bring website design into the picture. This is a good example. Is, I'll give you a full website for X price. And then you get in there and like, no, I only meant your homepage. Now it's going to be this much more. Or I only meant that I was going to give you or even to top it off is, I'm going to put SEO in there for you and do all your SEO for you. Guys, that's baloney. They literally can't do that. That is like competition with Google. This is a labor intensive thing. And it is quite an investment. You can't just make an SEO, set it and forget it. Okay. But we don't know that as business owners. We have no idea. But I learned from being totally like scammed. So, yes, we have to be really aware of who we're hiring, why we're hiring. And also, though, my girl Phyllis Song, she's amazing. She's got an amazing company that helps you connect with VAs. And I've hired all the wrong VAs, and now I have the most outstanding ones, and it's because of her. And she talks about it: hire fast, fire fast. She's like, hire. If in a week they're not up and running and doing what you need them to do, let them go and find another one. And that one just really shook me, because, and I know for you, the same thing. It's like, we love people. And it's like, oh, but their
you want
income, and
to
oh,
believe in them, right?
yes. Yes, I can't even tell you how many people I've given myself to them, and free coaching and free guidance, and built themselves up and loved on them for them to turn around and open their own competing business. You know, it's happened multiple times, but then I have to again learn how I'm going to frame this thing as an unshakable person. That person, this was actually one of my more recent things, is I had that exact thing happened, and I could have been like, oh my gosh, I've been betrayed, and oh, this is so hard, this is so sad. And I actually was like, wow, I raised a mighty fighting leader I raised a leader. And so actually I could say, well, that's awesome. Go have fun. You know, because there are plenty of people on this planet to serve. See, I can choose the attraction side of the magnet, or I can choose the push away side of the magnet. I could get bitter, resentful, or upset, or I can just rejoice and be happy because I've released a leader into the world, and the world needs great leaders.
Wow, that is quite the shift. That and I'm sure it's a muscle that constantly has to be worked and practiced and but man.
Oh, I've had practice.
It's great to know because sometimes also I feel like we pedestal people and it's like, "Oh my gosh, well Rebecca would never make this mistake," and to hear that you've been through it too. You are human. You're a business owner
I
like the
make
rest,
mistakes.
you know? And it's that beautiful. I mean, the unshakable resilience that you coach is you also walk your talk, right? Like you make the mistakes and you have those beautiful positive mindset shifts and it's very refreshing to talk to you.
You know, about failure. You know, if you should be in it to fail. And what I mean is when you go to the gym, you're going there to fail because failure will make you grow. And so I embrace failure. And you think about it, everything, I say this all the time, it's one of my favorite sayings. Everything is an opportunity. When you fail, you have an opportunity to learn and to grow. When you win, you have an opportunity to celebrate. And when you choose to learn and grow, you still have an opportunity to celebrate. And so actually everything turns around into an opportunity to celebrate. Failure and wins are both. And I look at the stuff I went through that was so emotionally traumatic. It made me, it is such an opportunity to celebrate. It is it did so many things to develop me and teach me. And now I am so solid in my identity. Man, that same thing could happen and I'd be like, okay, well, that's fine. Like I would be totally fine in the midst of it. So it makes all the difference to get a good trail guide, as I like to say, that will work with you, that will help you push forward, that will pull out the rocks and the roadblocks and the brush and the weeds in front of you so that you can get a clear trail and make it to the top. And then you can be like in Lion King where Mufasa's talking to Simba and he goes, look as far as the light touches, all of this is yours. And you can look out on everything that you can do and be a part of, and you can like be completely unleashed to live your life fully even when all heck is breaking loose around you. And I'm telling you this because I used to not be able to do this, but even like last week, I was able to do this when just like my car broke down. I was an hour away from home. Meanwhile, I'm trying to switch houses because I had water damage in my home and it took 7 months to get that repaired. And so I end up trying to move houses with a compact car because my other vehicle is stuck an hour away and like all this stuff's going on. And you know what? Me and my husband, we just sat there. We waited from 9:30 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. at a gas station parking lot because we were just stuck. We had the time of our lives because it was all about, I'm serious, it was all about the way we were looking at it. So I looked at him and he had like an ugly cry for a moment, like, because it's just been a lot. There's so much I didn't even mention, but I just said, okay, 90 seconds of grace, 90 seconds of grace. And so we just let that emotion flow through our body. And then we say, okay, what am I feeling? And I'm feeling sad. Okay, well, why are we feeling sad? It's sad usually means you've had a loss in your life. You're feeling the loss. And so we look at what is that loss about? And then we decide. We get to decide in that moment, what is the meaning we're going to give that? We're going to take that attraction side or that push away side. And so we're like finding, okay, what can we learn? How is life happening for us, not to us? And we started answering those questions. And then we're like, heck, let's just go explore this town while we wait. Or look, there's mountains in front of us. They're gorgeous. And look at what this is doing. And so we just sat there and made the best. That's the true life of like taking lemons and making lemonade, as they say. It's really possible, even in the midst of absolute crazy, stupid circumstances that, you don't wish on anybody, but it produces progress. And it produces growth if you let it. And doing all of that with a trail guide along your side to help to make sure you keep guide, it's just worth the investment. Warren Beatty says the best investment you can ever make, and he was all about investments, is the investing in yourself. And I found that true. So I'm constantly investing in myself so I can properly show up and invest in others. So guys, there's just so much hope. You are going to have problems around you. Pain will happen. Just stuff, hits the fan. It just is. But you can be centered, you can be at peace, and you can be so strong in the middle of that. And what's awesome is then your creative mind gets completely unleashed and amazing things can be birthed out of that. I'm telling you, there's so much hope in your life, no matter what you're facing.
Thank you so much. Just to hear you say this today, and also for stepping into this role and for creating this business and this support system for people. It's beautiful and it is necessary. And I cannot wait to send people your way because, as you said, right, investing in yourself is the fastest and the most productive, but probably also the most fulfilling way to achieve your goals, to get to where you want to go and to build the life that you want to build for yourself and your family. So I honor what you've done. I honored what you've created and how you are serving people. And thank you.
Oh, girl, honest, it's such an honor and a pleasure to be here today to talk to such an amazing woman as yourself. And the same goes at you. Like greatness notices greatness, right? And I just want to really applaud you for being somebody who really shows up authentically, and you take those risks and you step out to meet others, and you break through your own personal barriers, and you're also like you have integrity and honor in an industry that right now is missing that in a lot of ways, because in your industry people just don't know what they don't know, and so you can just totally spin it however you want to spin it. And here you're like, no, I'm going to do this the right way. And so I have such a high respect for you. I absolutely just feel so honored to get to have this conversation with you today. You are absolutely amazing leader. I'm super, super impressed by you.
You? I did not expect that, and I am trying to accept it. That's hard. But thank you, thank you, thank you. I would love for you to share how people can connect with you, how can they can learn more about you. If you have, content that they can consume, let me know, and I will put it in the show notes, but how can people connect with you?
Oh my gosh, there's so many ways. First of all, getarrowsedge.com and start there. Any listener today, if you want to message me, you can fill out the contact form there, or you can email me directly at rebecca@getarrowsedge.com and let me know, and I'll give you a free month to our Unshakable Life community, and then you can just learn and grow with us and decide if we're a good fit from there, and how we can help you. To know us is to love us. You cannot go wrong. Just try a month. It is no cost except for an hour of your time every week for 4 weeks. So I would love to see you there. You can check us out also on social media. There's LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Oh, and YouTube.
All the
So we do have
places.
some trainings on YouTube you can check out too. So yeah, join us. We'd love to have you.
Oh my gosh, that is so generous. I hope everybody takes you up on that. That is phenomenal. Thank you again for being here today. I can't wait to connect with you again soon.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.